Welcome back, True Seeker. What a story for Father's Day, June 15th, 2025. CNN has this in the top headlines. 201 ways to say fuck. What 1.7 billion words of online text shows about how the world swears. I almost feel like this story was made just for our community. What do you think? I mean, really? 201 ways? And then you gotta love the ticker down below. It's 201 in reverse. Let's see what's in this article by Martin Schweinberger, the University of Queensland, and Kate Burridge, Monash University. The conversation. Our brains swear for good reasons, to vent, cope, boost our grit, and feel closer to those around us. Swear words can act as social glue and play meaningful roles in how people communicate, connect, and express themselves, both in person and online. In our new research published in Lingua, we analyzed more than 1.7 billion words of online language across 20 English-speaking regions. We identified 597 different swear word forms, from standard words to creative spellings like arseholes to acronyms like WTF. The findings challenge a familiar stereotype. Australians, often thought of as prolific swearers, are actually outdone by Americans and Brits, both in how often they swear and in how many users swear online. Facts and figures. Our study focused on publicly available web data, such as news articles, organizational websites, government or institutional publications, and blogs, but excluding social media and private messaging. We found vulgar words made up 0.036% of all words in the data set from the United States, followed by 0.025% in the British data and 0.022% in the Australian data. Although vulgar language is relatively rare in terms of overall word frequency, it was used by a significant number of individuals. Between 12% and 13.3% of Americans, around 10% of Brits, and 9.4% of Australians used at least one vulgar word in their data. Overall, the most frequent vulgar word was fuck, with all its variants. It amounted to a stunning 201 different forms. We focused on online language that didn't include social media because large-scale comparisons need robust, purpose-built data sets. In our case, we used the global web-based English corpus, which was specifically designed to compare how English is used across different regions online. So how much were our findings influenced by the online data we used? Telling results come from research happening at the same time as ours. One study analyzed the use of fuck in social networks on X, examining how network size and strength influence swearing in the UK, US, and Australia. It used data from 5,660 networks with more than 435,000 users and 7.8 billion words and found what we did. Americans use fuck most frequently, while Australians use it the least, but with the most creative spelling variations. Some comfort for anyone feeling let down by our online swearing stats. Teasing apart cultural differences, Americans hold relatively conservative attitudes towards public morality, and their high swearing rates are surprising. The cultural contradiction may reflect the country's strong individualistic culture. Americans often value personal expression, especially in private or anonymous settings like the internet. Meanwhile, public displays of swearing are often frowned upon in the U.S. This is partly due to the lingering influence of religious norms, which frame swearing, particularly religious-based profanity, as a violation of moral decency. Significantly, the only religious-based swear word in our dataset, damn, was used most frequently by Americans. Research suggests swearing is more acceptable in Australian public discourse. Certainly, Australia's public airing of swear words often takes visitors by surprise. The long-running road safety slogan, "If you drink, then drive. If you're a bloody idiot," is striking. Such language is rare in official messaging elsewhere. Australians may be comfortable swearing in person, but our findings indicate they dial it back online, surprising for a nation so fond of its vernacular. In terms of preferences for specific forms of vulgarity, Americans showed a strong preference for variations of asshole. The Irish favored feck, the British preferred cunt, and Pakistanis leaned toward butthole. The only statistically significant aversion we found was among Americans, who tended to avoid the word bloody. Folk wisdom claims the word is blasphemous. Being fluent in swearing. People from countries where English is the dominant language, such as the US, Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Ireland, tend to swear more frequently and with more lexical variety than people in regions where English is less dominant, like India, Pakistan, Hong Kong, Ghana, or the Philippines. This pattern holds for both frequency and creativity in swearing. But as Singapore ranked fourth in terms of frequency of swearing in our study, just behind Australia and ahead of New Zealand, Ireland, and Canada. English in Singapore is increasingly seen not as a second language, but as a native language and as a tool for identity, belonging, and creativity. Young Singaporeans used social swearing to push back against authority, especially given the government's strict rules on public language. One possible reason we saw less swearing among non-native English speakers is that it is rarely taught. Despite its frequency and social utility, swearing alongside humor and informal speech is often left out of language education. Cursing comes naturally. Cultural, social, and technological shifts are reshaping linguistic norms, blurring the already blurry lines between informal and formal, private and public language. Just consider the Aussie contributions to the July Oxford English Dictionary updates. Expressions like to strain the potatoes, to urinate, no wuckers, and no wucking theories from No Fucking Worries. Swearing and vulgarity aren't just crass or abusive. While they can be used harmfully, research consistently shows they serve important communicative functions. Colorful language builds rapport, expresses humor and emotions, signals solidarity, and eases tension. It's clear that swearing isn't just a bad habit that can be easily kicked, like nail biting or smoking indoors. Besides, history shows that telling people not to swear is one of the best ways to keep swearing alive and well. Well, how about that, you guys? Did you know there were 201 ways to say F? Yeah, I just didn't know what to say about that, but I had to share it. Until next time, Truth Seeker.